What's up, everybody?
Hey,
it's Friday.
We are live. It's October 7th.
October 7th. My name is Matt
Wait,
Roden.
it's the 6th, I think.
This is easy.
Hold on, let's get this right.
October 6th.
All
Friday,
right,
October
enough.
6th. My name is Matt Roden.
My name is Andy Lefkowitz.
Welcome to Live at 5, everybody.
Hey.
Today's going to be very, very, very fun.
Yes.
Not just because it's Andy and I.
Aww.
But because our guest today is someone who I just adore.
Yes.
I have a little history with, and he's a Tony nominee
for Xanadu.
For Xanadu, which we were just talking about.
We were just talking.
Dan Knechtges is here, everybody.
Yes. Woo.
Very excited about that. But first, news. Andy, fill me in.
All right,
what's
man.
going on?
So Jason Daniely has joined the cast of Pretty Woman, the musical.
Great.
We've been getting a hearty amount of casting for this show lately. So Jason Daniely joins a cast that includes Orfeh as Kit DeLuca, Steve Kazee as Edward, and Samantha Barks as Vivian. Jason is going to be playing the role of Philip Stuckey. The role was played by Jason Alexander in the film.
Got it. Oh my God, so it's like Jason.
Yeah, look at that. It's a good fit.
Yeah.
And it starts in Chicago this coming summer, and then we'll open on Broadway in the fall.
It's a gorgeous theater, the Oriental.
Yes, the Oriental.
Have you done anything at the Oriental?
No.
Never?
No.
Well, maybe one.
Like a tour probably went through there. Yeah.
But SpongeBob tried out,
that's true.
And now they're going to Broadway.
That's true.
So that's kind of cool.
I have to tell you, you might be mad at me too. I've never seen Pretty Woman.
Dude.
What?
I've never seen Pretty Woman.
Are you for real?
I know. I guess, but now I'm kind of like, I don't want to watch it before the musical. I kind of want to like go in fresh. Know.
The film is, come on, man. Incredible.
Classic.
Incredible.
All right, I trust you.
Yes.
What else, Andy?
All right, what else? So Kiriate Anaudoan.
Nice.
And Barrett Doss.
Yep.
Are joining the cast of the new Grey's Anatomy spin-off, which doesn't have a title yet, but they're going to be playing firefighters. And I'm so down for this because they're super talented.
Yes.
Recent Broadway folks.
Yes.
He was in Great Comet, and she was in Groundhog Day.
Yes.
And this is like a really big deal for them, and I'm pumped.
Shondaland.
Yes, Shondaland is right.
I think anytime I get to hear about like Broadway people going into television, it just makes me very happy. I mean, you look at someone like another Hamilton person, Daveed Diggs, who now is on Blackish. But more than that, now he's like the executive producer of that new show, The Mayor, which we have large billboards outside of our office that I see every single day of like Leah Michelle.
Awesome. Yes.
Hanging out. But that's his show. So I think it's very exciting to hear about Broadway people on television.
Indeed.
Speaking of Broadway people and Hamilton people, Lin-Manuel Miranda's Almost Like Praying was released today. I know that this has been like highly anticipated. Everybody's been talking about this. It's been 2 weeks since the disaster in Puerto Rico, and Lin got all of his like star-studded friends together and wrote this song, and it's amazing. All the funds, 100% of the funds, are going to Hurricane Maria relief, which is amazing. It's streaming on all the platforms, but they're hoping that people will also buy the song on iTunes. And it features like Gloria Estefan, J-Lo's on there, Broadway favorites Anna Villafane, Anthony Ramos, and like a whole slew of just like incredible stars and voices.
So
Mark Anthony.
Awesome. Yeah, and the song is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
So moving.
Almost Like Praying, which anybody, I'm not going to give it away. I'll let you answer on Facebook. But does anybody know the reference, Almost Like Praying, the sample, as Lynn's calling it?
Yes.
Speaking of Hamilton peeps, speaking of more like that Lin-Manuel Miranda, Mandy Gonzalez, who's currently in Hamilton right now on Broadway, released a single today called Fearless. I don't know. I think she's putting out an album.
A full album,
on November 20th, titled Fearless.
Yes.
But today she released a single which is called Fearless, and it's written by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Look at that.
Today's a big day for him as a songwriter.
Yes.
I'm sure there's been some bigger days, but this is a big day for him. Two big singles released on the same day.
Yes.
It's a very fun song.
Yes.
Mandy Gonzalez is
She's incredible.
amazing.
Yes.
So go listen to that. Download that too.
Awesome. So Kristen Chenoweth has written a song about her dog.
Yeah, this one is really interesting.
Yeah, so Kristen wrote a song with her musical director, Mary Mitchell Campbell, called Obedience School, and it's about her travails with her adorable pup, Thunder. And she is dedicating the song to the ASPCA And yeah, you can listen to it on our website.
It's very cute. The cover art is of that really, really adorable dog.
Yes.
I like a dog.
Indeed. And lastly, Ben Platt and Gavin Creel are teaming up for a benefit concert at 54 Below called Let Me Try That Again. They're going to be reliving embarrassing onstage moments. So that's...
sounds like fun.
It does sound like fun. And it's a benefit for the Performing Arts Project, which was co-created by Stephen Pasquale, who's back on stage right now in...
Junk. They started previews last night, right?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, very exciting.
So that's pretty cool. And when else will you really be able to see Ben Platt at 54 Below while he's still in Dear Evan Hansen? So that's on October 15th, by the way.
Hint, you will not.
Yeah.
Ben Platt at
But maybe
54 Below.
after November.
It's hosted by Susan Blackwell.
It is hosted by Susan Blackwell.
So look at the Broadway.com tie-in.
Yes.
So that's
the news, y'all.
That's the news. That's everything. Andy, have a great weekend.
You too, man.
I like the shirt.
Thank you.
I just love Amy Lefkowitz.
I
have a
love
great
Matt
weekend.
Rodin.
We'll be right back with Dan Knechtges.
We will.
Go ahead, throw your rocks at me.
Baking a pie is easy, if you know how.
I'm still standing.
If only life were as easy as pie. Waitress is a hit, raves the New York Times, with songs by Grammy-nominated artist Sarah Bareilles, an uplifting celebration of love and laughter. Sugar, butter, flour.
Broadway's Come From Away is a Best Musical winner all across North America. This stirring and inspiring musical takes you to a place you never want to leave. Celebrate the best of humankind and the best in all of us at Come From Away, the remarkable true story of the small town that welcomed the world.
Welcome back, everybody. I am joined now by just a wonderful, just towering human being who, like I said earlier, is a Tony Award nominee for his work on Xanadu. But you also might have seen his stuff. He did Spelling Bee. What else? I have written down 110 in the Shade, Sondheim on Sondheim. A warm round of applause from our large studio audience for Dan Knechtges, everybody.
A round of
Thank you. No one else does that.
Oh, come on.
I love that.
That's a goodie. I call that an oldie but a goodie.
It's a good. I almost said that's like you, but that's not you. That's not you. That's not
Shut
you.
up.
I love you.
Yeah.
Dan, hi.
Hi.
What's going on? How are you?
I am in town for a short bit.
A short bit, and what brings you to town? What brings you back to the city?
I'm directing a reading/concert version of My Favorite Year that we did at the York Theater 3 years ago now with an amazing cast. The cast was and still is for the most part.
Oh, it's the same. It's like the same cast.
Basically
mostly.
the same cast. It's Richard Kind playing the Sid Caesar kind of role. Doug Sills playing the Errol Flynn.
Amazing.
I mean, he is so good.
Oh my gosh.
Adam Chandler Barat, who I'm literally in love with. Mm-hmm. He's so great. Caroline O'Connor is playing the Andrea Martin part that she won a Tony for.
Oh my God.
In '91. There's
so
like so many.
And
things.
then, Carolee Carmel. No.
Carolee Carmello. Oh my gosh, how great is she? I love her so much.
You have like a squad. You have like a whole squad of
yeah,
good
right.
peeps. You do.
I know. I just.
Wait, it's the 25th anniversary, right?
Yes, the original production, I believe, was 92, 91 or 92. I don't do math.
I mean, I was born in 92, and I'm 25. So yes, it's the 25th anniversary.
I don't do math, so 5, 6, 7, 8,
those are the numbers that I know.
Yeah.
So what was your first introduction to the piece itself? Like, how did you get involved in like, the, way back when?
Well, I wasn't 25, or I was a little younger than that, but I got
in the 90s?
I got the cast album, and I listened to it, and then Lynn and Steve, who I was the choreographic intern on the original production of Seussical. And so I knew Lynn and Steve
oh
from
my
that.
God.
And they were the nicest people in the entire world and knew me the second day I was a nobody. And, you know, over the years, every time I would run into them, they were like, we're so proud of you. You were on our show. And then when this came up and they were working on trying to do a new version of the show, they called me. They were like, you're funny. Would you like to work on this with us? And if they had musicalized the phone book, I would have said
Right,
yes.
yeah, right.
I mean, they're so
They're
talented.
amazing. And just like the kindest people.
So smart.
Yep.
So nice.
Yep.
And so we did this at the York Theater, and there were a bunch of changes to the show that they had done. Like 3 to 4 new songs, a new end of Act 1. I mean, this was a very fun story.
I love a revision. I love
the
a revision.
day before rehearsal started there, we were up all night, and I kept saying, I think the act break is in the wrong place. And Lynn was like, fine. And I had a 30-minute ride home on the subway. By the time I got home, there was a whole new ending to Act 1, including rewritten lyrics and a reworked song. I mean, they were so fast.
They're
and it was
amazing.
so great.
Yeah. And so now you're doing it at 54 Below this weekend on
Yes.
Sunday at 7.
I think it's 7 and 9:30.
Right. Which is just so exciting. It's so cool that you guys get to do this.
Also, Rose Hemingway from How to Succeed is one of our leads as well. I didn't want to forget her.
Yeah,
she's sort of a star
out.
too. And so it's 2 shows. It's 70 minutes, and it's really great. It's so funny. Very
Is this like a
tuneful.
condensed version of the?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah, it's highlights.
Love that. I
Yeah.
love like a sizzle reel. I love a sizzle.
A long sizzle
a
reel,
long
but
sizzle,
it's
a
a
70-minute sizzle. Did you always want to be a director? Like, is this what you always wanted to do?
I've always been bossy. Yes. No, I at college, I did not have a dance scholarship at all. I had an acting scholarship, and I had a voice scholarship, and I had a literature scholarship.
So wait, but you were like BFA. You were like musical theater. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
But I had
no dancing.
No, I had dance training. I just hadn't danced for a year, so
Okay.
I didn't audition for the dance because I had given it up my senior year in high school.
Yeah, so you went to college and you got the degree in musical theater.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, and I started directing and choreographing there. I choreographed like all my high school shows and like some community theater stuff. So I had been doing it, and there was a professor there who was a Fosse dancer, originally in dancing, and she goes to me, you should be a choreographer. You're really good. Here, do this. And they really pushed me into that.
That's amazing.
And so that's sort of how I got it. And, you know, I directed like a bunch of plays in college too. So it's really what I wanted to be. Like everyone said, oh, I want to be, you know, Barbra Streisand or Liza Minnelli, in which I kind of wanted to be them too. But I really said what I really wanted to be was Michael Bennett or Bob Fosse or Jerome Robbins or Susan Stroman, who was coming up at that time. And it was amazing to have that ideal and then meet Susan Stroman and have her be so kind to me and generous with her advice to me, and meeting people like Lynn and Steve. And it's just been such a joy to be able to do this.
Yeah. And now you're here and like you're doing it. Like you're like, I mean, you've been around for like a while now.
I know.
You've been on the scene and like doing stuff, but
and it's funny, once you get to that point, you feel like you know everybody, because that is one of the pleasures of it. It's like you know Lynn and Steve.
Yeah.
But also, like, I worked with frickin' Sondheim.
Right.
Like that
like,
when that happened, I was
blown.
like, I can't believe it. And James Lapine sitting next to me, one of my all-time idols. But it's funny when Lynn and Steve turn to you and they go, what do you think? And you're like,
you're asking, like, you guys are asking me?
Who? Me? Yeah.
It's cool. And I always say to people, like, especially young people that I meet at Broadway Con or just around and I talk to when I go to colleges, like, this is like, the industry is not like, it's I
It's
don't know,
so small.
Yeah, but you can
It's
break
so
in, but
small.
you can totally find your place in it.
And you know,
can
when
meet the
people say,
you love.
"Oh, there are 1,000 people that are auditioning this day," I was like, "It's only 1,000. That's not that
It's
many.
not that many.
In the scope of the world, it is not that many.
you're
And
right.
one, you've got to keep trying because you will hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I was about ready to say, it's like you keep thinking you know everybody, but
Oh, yeah.
because there's such turnover in the industry, you always meet a young up and comer that changes the way you think about your craft and the art of what you do. And that also is the thing that kind of keeps me going, because I keep going, well, gosh, what do I have to say new now? It's like I really don't until I interact with someone
Yeah.
who comes from a different place and a different age group
Yeah.
than me.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the thing is, like, you can meet those stories, like, happen all the time, where you can meet your heroes. You can meet the people that you've
Yeah.
idolized like your whole life. I mean,
They're
not that
right here.
They're right here. Like, Dan, you're like right here.
Yeah.
No, but I remember, like, like watching like videos of Spelling Bee when I was, or like watching the Tony performance of Xanadu and like imitating Cheyenne Jackson, like
Yeah.
when I was in high school or middle school. And so it's just,
Yeah.
it all comes back, and it's not inaccessible. Like, the industry,
Yeah.
you can meet the people that you
For
adore.
sure. For sure.
It's amazing. But also, in the meantime of this directing this thing at 54 Below, like, now you're kind of like taking like the next step. Like, you are not just a director choreographer. Now you're like an artistic director.
So I, long story short, I was asked to put my name in to interview for the artistic director position at Theater Under the Stars in Houston.
Yeah.
Which I had done a How to Succeed there a year ago. That was
With a great squad, like Ryan
Enough.
Redman. Oh yeah, you had the whole
Ashley
you
Blanchett,
had all the
Chris
peeps.
Dwan.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was a killer cast.
Yes.
And it went so well, and I of course said yes, I would, and I got it, and I went.
Booked.
I booked,
You
as
booked
they
it.
say. I love that they say that now.
You booked it.
And I'm really loving it. It requires such a different skill set,
Really?
and yet the same skill set,
Yeah.
because a lot of directing is management and like managing those personalities, and not everybody responds to the same thing.
Yes.
And
Ways of communication.
oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
and you have to keep saying, "Am I clear?"
Right.
This is how it should
You're like,
be.
is this you get it? You understand?
Yeah, I know. So, but it's fun to start thinking of theater as a business,
Yeah.
which, Broadway.com does, and a lot of other people do, but there's still that stalwart group of us that keeps thinking, oh, theater, it could be a marvelous blend of both.
Mm-hmm.
And when it is, it's like Hamilton or one of the other biggies.
You hit the sweet spot.
You hit the sweet spot. It's both.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're like super excited about, like being an artistic director now? Like, I'm talking about like productions or things next season or 2 years down the line,
Well,
5 years
the
down the line?
interesting thing at Theater Under the Stars, it's our 50th anniversary next season, the first season that I get to plan.
Look at that.
And I think the 50th on any arts organization celebrating is a triumphant feat.
Yes.
Especially they went through the Depression and the end of the 70s, then they went through Reaganomics, and then they went through the oil boom, which you may or may not know, oil business is pretty big in Houston.
Okay.
And so they went through all of these trials and tribulations of a really crazy time in America, and they lasted and thrived. Beauty and the Beast premiered at Theater Under the Stars in 1993, I think. Or 1994, one of those two. And so that was a big to-do down there. And so we're trying to make Houston and Theater Under the Stars a place where producers can go, oh, that's where I want to try out my show. We are the most diverse city in the country.
Really?
Beating New York.
Wow.
of all ethnic groups.
Yeah.
They, in some instances, they're first or second in almost every one.
That's amazing.
In terms of population
Yeah.
by percentage.
Yeah.
And that is a big indicator for me that I think musical theater needs diversity in order to thrive.
In the audiences and in the actors.
And that's how it was created originally here,
Yeah.
was the Lower East Side, where all of these communities were intersecting and reacting to one another. And then the other thing, of course, it needs is money, which they have.
They have that. They have it down there. But the theater scene in Texas is really amazing. Like
It's
there's
thriving.
Yeah, it is, right?
The Alley Theater is one of the gems of the regional theater. Houston Grand Opera is one of the leading opera companies, not only in the country, but in the world. The symphony is like in the top 10 of the world. The ballet is in the top 10.
So
The
you're in
ba-
good company.
Yeah. We're in very good company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
It's wonderful, and I'm hoping that we can really use that as a tryout spot for musicals.
Have you announced anything of next season yet?
No, but I know some. I don't think I.
You get-
You know, one thing I could probably say is that I'm using the 50th. The story is that we're looking back into the past to see the future. So as we
Yes.
look back into the past, we've done Beauty and the Beast. So
Okay.
quite possibly
There's a chance that could.
there's
be,
a chance that could be
It could have a new
Yes,
breath. Yes.
hoping.
A new life. Yeah.
knock on
That's so
wood.
exciting and so cool that you're now
Yeah.
like taking on that role. You know what I mean?
I'm excited.
Was it ever anything you expected to be doing? Like, is this something you always wanted?
It was something I expected to be doing. I didn't think that I would ever get this because
Yeah.
I had no experience in the managerial side of
Mhm.
it. I always thought that I would start my own theater and do it and kind of raise
Maybe
it
one
from
day
the
you
ground.
will, but
Maybe
now
after
you're
this.
at. It's just so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna take questions in a second. I also want to quickly talk about an organization that you work with
Oh yeah.
that
I know.
I am like I have in the last like 6 months I've just like fallen in love with all the work they do. But
Yeah.
you work with Broadway Dreams Foundation.
Love
Can
Broadway.
you talk about how it started, what it is, and what you guys do?
Yeah, so Broadway Dreams Foundation, their mission is to bring Broadway level training outside of New York, and in some cases in New York. But so the kids or the students, because sometimes the students are past what you would call kids, but for the most
Right, it's
part,
all ages, right?
It's all ages, but for the most part, it's basically young kids all the way up to high school, college, and then in some instances past. But it's to let these students be directed, choreographed, conducted, music directed, and perform with Broadway performers. And they get training all through the week, and simultaneous to that training, they're also working on pieces that will be performed at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And the thinking is that, you know, being thrown into the fire of really having to put out in terms of your talent, of really making choices with professionals of really high caliber.
Like yourself.
And Lynn Ahrens and Steve
yes,
Flaherty.
Right, yeah, right.
Which it all kind of comes back to this. You're very good, you are. Is that one of our kids in My Favorite Year is a Broadway dreamer, is where I found her.
And there's also like I should say like there's a lot of dreamers that are like in New York and are on in Broadway
And
shows.
working in Once on This Island, 2 staff members from Broadway Dreams, Quentin Darrington
Oh yeah.
and Alex Newell.
Right, and both staff members. But there are a lot of like Noah Rickets, who is
Noah Rickets is going to be in Frozen.
Yeah, like it.
God, it's too numerous because I'm
like
blanking.
Jalen, like there's a girl who's gonna be in.
Jalen, this is a great story. Is that Jalen did not. She didn't know that she wanted to do this, and Annette Tanner, who is the executive director, saw her in a high school production, I think, of something, and said, "Come here and do this." And she had a scholarship all 3 years. The end of 3 years, she got into Baldwin Wallace College. And then now she booked a lead in SpongeBob SquarePants
On Broadway.
on Broadway.
It's just so cool, and that's why
I mean,
think-
I taught her everything
Yeah, that's
she knew,
right. There
but
we go.
there we
yeah.
go.
No, but it's really. I mean, I think the work that you guys do is incredible.
Yeah. And now it's international too.
Right.
so
That's right. You guys went to like what? Russia.
I've been to Moscow twice, Brazil once. They've been to Brazil twice. This year I'm going to New Zealand with them.
New Zealand.
New Zealand, and then Brazil again.
That's so. It's
Yeah.
just so cool.
It's really amazing the work that they do and the people they kind of bring into the fold. Ryan Redmond, who's
Yep.
going to be in Margaritaville.
Spencer Liff, Alex
Spencer
Newell.
Liff.
I'm trying to
Spencer
think-
Liff is choreographing the Christmas show at Theater Under the Stars in Houston.
See, it's all about relationships, people. It's all about relationships.
with this guy right here.
With this guy. Let's see if we have any questions from our audience here. Bradley wants to know, is there a person that you'd most like to work with again, other than me?
Well, I'm working with several right now on My Favorite Year. Doug Sills, Richard Kind, all of those. Adam Chandler Barat, I just think is so talented. But the one person who couldn't do it this time, who I was sad about, even though I love Caroline O'Connor, and she couldn't do it for a good reason, is Leslie Kritzer.
Oh yeah, because she's booked and blessed.
She's doing Honeymooners, but I think Leslie Kritzer, to me, is one of the most talented people ever to work in New York. I love her to death as a person, and I think she is comedic gold.
And amazing human being.
Yeah.
And so funny and a good humor.
And I like that you can tell her anything. Like, you can say, no, that doesn't work, and she's not offended at all. She'll go and do something else. She's so inventive. There are a million people I could name.
Yeah.
Mary Testa, Jackie Hoffman, love.
I was going to say, all the Xanadu peeps.
Anybody from Xanadu, anybody from Spelling Bee, I just love.
Also Liz Estrada, now Patty Murin.
Oh my God.
It's
Patty
literally,
Murin.
It's about to be in
A
Frozen. She
major
is a Disney
star.
princess.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
She's great.
It's amazing.
I love her. She's also one who's so inventive. It's like she makes everything better than how you ever thought it could be.
David wants to know, please describe Stephen Sondheim in 3 words.
I could say it in 1. He's intuitive. So
3 syllables. Oh no, is that 4?
Intuitive.
Oh, okay.
Is that 4? Yeah, I don't do math. Okay, so here's a great story. So when we were doing Sondheim on Sondheim, he invited all of us to come over to his townhouse for a party, lovely party, and I was so geeked out, a total Broadway geek, and he opened the door. I knocked. I was one of the first people there, and he went, and he has an eye that's like a little bit down, and he goes, "You're Dan, with that German last name. Where are you from? Where's your family from?" And I said, "Well, they're from this small town called Arweiler on Vine." And he goes, "I know where that is." I went, "No, you don't." And he said, "I do, because my family is from a town that's right near there." And I went,
That's amazing.
and then he has a piano where...
Did he play?
No, but nobody was there because, and I just kind of sat down and I went, literally the only tune that I know how to play from heart is Send in the Clowns. So I went, do, 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 Send in the Clowns. And then there's this thing from Arthur Lawrence hanging there. This is the piano Leonard Bernstein gave to Stephen Sondheim.
It's all too much. It's all too much.
No, it's too much.
Were you were you a Broadway fangirl as like a kid?
You don't even know. So there were not CDs really when I was growing up.
I know. It was like vinyl and 8 tracks.
And so my brother had a double cassette deck, and I put the record player on it, and I literally taped on Memorex tapes every Broadway cast album from the Elyria Public Library in Ohio and the Cleveland Public Library in Ohio.
Dude, everything.
I had like 560 tapes
What was the most,
that I carried them around.
played?
Well, I had gotten a bootleg of Carrie, the musical, of like Barbara Cook doing it, and then I had one of Maureen McGovern doing the backers audition. That was really good.
Honestly, like this is what I'm saying. Like Broadway fangirls have been around forever. Like
Oh,
you
no.
are like.
Like, I don't know how you work in the. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I don't know how people would have any knowledge of this stuff.
Because
if
there's
you
like some
didn't keep-
deep knowledge there.
Because you have to really love it so that it's not work. Like, it was not work taping those things. I would sit there and listen and like, that was my life.
That's amazing. And now here you are.
Yeah.
Last question from David. Dream show that you'd like to mount.
Oh, my all-time favorite.
Dream show.
Dreamgirls. By far, it's my all-time favorite.
Really?
Top 5. Dreamgirls chorus line. I don't want to do chorus line because I think it's perfect.
Okay, great.
Dreamgirls
Chorus
chorus line.
line.
Guys and Dolls
Oh,
is there's not a
genius.
period missing or a comma that is in the wrong place. Carousel I love. The Wiz. Oh my God, I love The Wiz so much. It's like one of my all-time favorite shows.
Well, I feel like all those shows are kind of. I mean, Carousel's coming in.
I know. I love Carousel so much.
Do we know if Dreamgirls is coming in?
Yeah.
Do we know? Maybe.
No,
it's like,
oh, no,
we
I
don't-
thought
we
it
don't-
was.
I thought it was too, but I guess now maybe I don't know.
They can't find a theater, I would bet. They're all booked.
I know everything's like booked and everyone's booked and blessed.
I know. I wish someone would build a theater. That's what I wish they would do.
They were going to. They were going
I
to build.
know.
Oh,
It's too expensive, I think.
you know what, Dan? You can build a theater. Yeah, with all your
With all my
your
money.
all your Texas money, you
With
can
all
build a
my
theater.
money, I'm
Yeah.
walking home. That's how much money I have.
Well, if you are in the city this weekend and you like the musical My Favorite Year, or even if you don't and you like all those people that he mentioned, Doug Sills, Adam Chandler Barat, Caroline O'Connor, Carolee Carmelo,
Richard
Richard Kind, comedic genius,
comedic genius.
you need to go see My Favorite Year, 54 Below, on Sunday at 7 and 9:30 p.m.
And have a few cocktails
Yeah.
and some delicious food.
It is
that
the
they have
food
there.
is very good.
It's
there.
such a nice ambiance there too.
It is. It's very
Yeah.
classy. You feel like you feel very
Yeah.
like swanky.
I know.
You know.
What am I doing there?
You are swanky.
Nah.
Thank you for coming through and
Thank
hanging
you.
out with me.
Have fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah.
I adore you, and I'm
Aw,
so
thank you.
excited that you're now like the artistic director, and you're gonna embark on this.
You have
new
to come down.
I'm coming.
You should do this setup down there.
Oh my God! Like
We have Margaritaville coming. That's going to be at the Hobby Center.
right. So we should do like an on location like.
Spencer Lift will be down there
Look at this.
doing the panto. Come on down.
We'll come. I adore you.
I adore you too.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
You
We'll be
too.
back on Tuesday because Monday is Columbus Day. Weird holiday. But Monday is Columbus Day. So we'll be back on Tuesday with another amazing guest. Have a good weekend, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.